Stove worth as much as a treasure, please subscribe to my channel and support me. In a small forest village at the foot of the Alps, there lived a poor family. Their tiny home didn't have many things, but they had one special treasure, a stove. It wasn't just any stove, it was beautifully decorated, with colorful flower designs on the sides, golden yellow and sea blue door, legs shaped like lion paws, and a white porcelain crown on top. According to the story passed down in the family, the stove had once been made for a palace, but was found long ago in a ruined building by one of their ancestors. Ever since, it had become their most beloved item. One cold night, the children were warming their hands by the stove when their father came in and said, "My dear children, warm yourselves well tonight. Tomorrow the stove will be gone. We're in great need and must sell it so we can eat." The children cried and begged, but their father gently insisted. He thought it was better to give up the stove than to go hungry. That night, the father didn't refill the stove with coal, so the fire slowly faded by morning. As the sun rose, the two children, Peter and Gerda, woke up, thinking of a way to save their precious stove. Peter suddenly said to Gerda, "I'll hide in the wagon that takes the stove. If we know where it goes, maybe we can get it back one day." When the workers arrived to pick up the stove, Peter snuck into the back of the wagon and hid under a blanket. He overheard them saying that the stove was going to the station and would be loaded onto a train in the morning. Once they reached the station and no one was looking, Peter quietly climbed into the stove and closed the door. Luckily, he could still breathe through the small vents. Soon, he fell fast asleep. When he woke up, the train was gently rocking on the tracks. After a while it stopped. The workers carefully carried the big stove out and warned each other, "Be careful. This stove is going to the palace. We can't damage it." The journey continued by horse cart, and Peter felt them stop again. He could hear voices. "Look how beautiful it is, just like a work of art. The king will love this stove." Then everything went quiet. Peter heard whispers. "The king is coming." A moment later, a voice said, "Yes, yes, this is just as lovely as they said. Look, a crown on top, lion paws for legs, and such a fine door." Just then, the king touched the stove's door and accidentally opened it. Peter rolled out. "Oh, my goodness!" cried the surprised king. "Who are you?" Peter stood up, nervous but brave, and told the whole story. The king, who had a kind face with a white beard and warm eyes, listened carefully. When Peter finished, the king smiled and said, "Peter, your story is amazing. I can't return the stove because now it belongs in the palace. But I'll send a bag of gold to your father, so your family never has to suffer again. And you, such a brave boy, you may stay here at the palace if you'd like. You can study, learn a trade, and one day work for me." Peter agreed happily. His family, no longer poor thanks to the gold, visited him during every holiday. Peter grew up in the palace, later got married, and had children of his own. And among all the bedtime stories he told them, their favorite was always the one about the stove worth as much as a treasure. Thank you for listening.